Drivers, thank you for being awesome. I'm Angela Roach, and this is Behind the Wheel powered by HireMaster. Shipping analysts and experts have stated that there could be potential light at the end of the tunnel for the supply chain. Since the COVID lockdown in 2020, the supply chain overall has had to react on a daily basis to slowdowns, congestions, and cancellations. The supply chain has yet to recuperate the loss of fluidity due to congestion. According to an article written by Repair Driven News, quote, during an August 24 webinar held by the Auto Care Association, a panel discussed the current status of ocean shipping and the outlook for the coming months through the start of 2023, end quote. In summary, the webinar identified the difference between pre and post pandemic being the lack of recovery and normalcy. Another issue that is holding the supply chain back from normalcy is the fluctuation of volumes that companies and drivers cannot keep up with. Companies are having to come up with new ways of getting products to clients and customers to try and lessen the congestion. Weston Labar, Cargomatic Head of Strategy, told RDN, quote, as a solution, some companies, including Cargomatic, are moving cargo off the docks for customers to pick up from there, end quote. Finding new ways to relieve congestion, such as this one by Cargomatic, is what will create the potential for recovery and normalcy of the supply chain. ITS Logistics, a third-party logistics company based in Nevada, has announced its own veterans trucking program. The program is designed to honor veterans for their service by taking into consideration the years of their military service towards their starting pay as a driver. As stated by ITS, veterans with a CDL will receive 100% of their time in the military with a maximum of up to 20 years towards their overall driving tenure and commensurate pay level. Ryan Martin, the president of Asset Operations, announced the program will be celebrated by co-hosting Wreaths Across America in collaboration with the Nevada Trucking Association in the beginning of September in the Greater Nevada field. Martin said, quote, veterans are part of the culture at ITS Logistics for countless great reasons, including their logistics and operational experience in moving equipment and materials across military bases, unfamiliar foreign locales, and even active war zones. These veterans have situational awareness, mental endurance, self-discipline, and are extremely dependable drivers. It's an honor for us to provide this incentive to use their military skills to serve ITS customers, end quote. Based on current reports, at least 13% of ITS truck drivers are military veterans who are being compensated for their experience. If you are a veteran watching or listening, thank you for your service. If you are a driver in search of a trucking company, visit hiremaster.com to get connected with a team member today. Last week, we had a clip from Dr. Mark Manera of Supply Chain Fitness, giving tips on how to minimize soft tissue injuries while on the road. For this week's health and fitness tip, we go back out to Dr. Mark Manera for another great tip about easy fast food meal swaps.
Here's 3 meal swaps at 3 different fast food restaurants that every truck driver should do to eat healthier on the road. Number 1, Arby's. Check out the difference between these 2 meals. Number 2, Carl's Jr. Check out this quick switch. And finally, number 3, Popeyes. Check out the difference with these 2 meals and those hand-breaded blackened chicken tenders. Game changer.
Thank you for the great tip, Mark. You can find more tips from Mark on TikTok at Dr. Mark Manera. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, also known as the EPA and Transportation Department, responded to the current fuel crisis in an attempt to relieve potential fuel shortages. This is a direct result of the unexpected shutdown of an oil refinery in Indiana. According to the U.S. News, Reuters, a prominent news agency, reported, quote, barrel per day refinery was shut down and undergoing damage assessment following loss of electrical power and cooling water systems in a Wednesday fire, end quote. The EPA announced the shutdown will be in effect until September 15, 2022, due to 15 federal regulations for fuel volatility on gasoline sold in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin in an effort to facilitate the supply of fuel. Michael Regan, an administrator of EPA, said, quote, extreme and unusual fuel supply circumstances exist and has granted a temporary waiver to help ensure that an adequate supply of gasoline is available in the affected areas until normal supply to the region can be restored, end quote. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer contributed efforts by signing an immediate executive order following the BP fire shutdown. The order will exempt motor carriers and drivers from transporting fuel, state maximums, and temporarily suspend regulations to accelerate the transition to the fall fuel supply. The U.S. EPA and the Energy Department will continue to monitor fuel supply and take into account any additional measures to relieve potential fuel shortages. In this week's Weather Watch, earlier in the week, Southern California, Western Texas, and New Mexico were all under flood warnings. Throughout the rest of the week, expect high heat advisories in much of the Southern California and Western Arizona with temperatures in the high 90s and even 100s. Temperatures across the country this week have risen back up into the 80s and 90s, giving residents their last little bit of summer weather. Expect scattered showers in the southern Texas and southeast states Thursday and Friday, with heavier rain expected Friday afternoon through the weekend. And that's going to do it for Behind the Wheel. I'm Angela Roach. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe on YouTube to catch each episode. And leave us a like and a comment. We'll see you next time on Behind the Wheel, powered by HireMaster.